Well, good evening, folks. Thank you for joining me tonight. This is Bill Breeden, and welcome to Constellation Tour number 54. Tonight's constellation is the Southern Fish, or Piscis Austrinus, located in the southern celestial hemisphere of the sky. Best viewed from September to November each year. And this one is far enough south where it would help to be from a more southern location, so I've chosen Miami as our viewing location here in Stellarium. I've set us up for a field of view of 60 degrees, giving you a naked eye view of the sky. And I've got it set up for October 10th, 2020 at about 10:40 p.m. So how do we go about finding the constellation Piscis Austrinus, or the Southern Fish? This one is sort of an obscure constellation, but it's somewhat semi-known because of the one bright star that's in it, and it's one of the sky's brightest stars, luckily. And it's also in an area of the sky where there's not many bright stars at all. So from Miami, looking south on the 10th of October, we are looking at a virtually empty part of the sky here, especially from moderately light polluted suburbs. We've got these two bright stars over here, but they're not stars at all. They're the planets Saturn and Jupiter. And then looking a little bit to the east, we have the planet Mars up. Mars just passed opposition on October 6th of 2020, so we still have a very bright Mars in the sky. So what about this big empty area of the sky where there's just not many bright stars? That's known as the Cetus Void. There is one bright star in this area, and that star will guide us right to Piscis Austrinus, and that is right here, the star Fomalhaut, or Alpha Piscis Austrinus. This is a first magnitude star located 25 light years from Earth. So let's have a look at the constellation lines. And you'll see that Piscis Austrinus is located right below the zodiacal constellation Aquarius. And that's one of my tricks in the sky, is to look for these three stars here that sort of form a curve. That's the water jar of Aquarius. And I always imagine that the water is being poured out of the water jar into the southern fish's mouth here, or Fomalhaut. So let's have a look at the mythical figures. And you'll see that the water is shown being poured out sort of this way, and the fish's mouth is over here. So the mythical figures kind of miss here when it comes to my envisioning of the water being poured into the fish's mouth. But under the actual sky, okay, it's easy to picture that. As many times, depending on which direction Aquarius and Piscis Austrinus are located, it does appear that the water jar is pouring the water straight out here into the fish's mouth. So that's another way that you can be sure that the star you are looking at is Fomalhaut. Just look above it and look for these three sort of faint stars in a striking curve here, and that is the Aquarius water jar. So there are a couple of double stars to look at in Piscis Austrinus, so let's venture to a dark sky site. And you'll see, if you look above Fomalhaut here, you can still see the water jar of Aquarius. It is a little bit clearer from a dark sky location. And if you look at the constellation boundaries, Piscis Austrinus does sort of form this sort of flattened out oval of stars. And that is the southern fish with Fomalhaut as the fish's mouth. So it's a little hard to picture a flattened out oval as a fish, but if you use your imagination, you can do it. So here's the water jar of Aquarius, pouring the water out to the fish's mouth, Fomalhaut, and then you can find this kind of flattened out oval of stars. That is Piscis Austrinus. So Fomalhaut is the alpha star, and before we look at some other double stars, let's take a look at Fomalhaut itself through the finder scope. And it is a really bright star, so prepare for that if you do decide to observe it through your instrument. And there's Fomalhaut as viewed through a 24mm eyepiece. So, which one of these is the beta star? If Fomalhaut is the alpha, the beta star is usually the next star in order of brightness. So I'm going to guess that it's one of these two. There's delta, there's gamma, so I would be wrong. There's epsilon, there's beta. Okay, beta Piscis Austrinus is a double star. It's magnitude 4.2. So let's have a look at that through the finder. And Stellarium doesn't show it as splitting through the finder. Let's see how easy this one is to split. There we go. And there we go again. That's a nice one. That splits twice. This star is located 143 light years from Earth. And it looks like it has a little color to it. The main component is a bluish white with a sort of a yellowish white and a gold star out here. That's nice. So that one splits twice. Beta Piscis Austrini. Okay, I do have one more double star, and that's Gamma Piscis Austrini. Now, which one was Gamma? I think that one was Delta. Was that one Delta? Or Epsilon? No, that was Delta. That was Epsilon. And there's Gamma. Okay, Gamma Piscis Austrini is a magnitude 4.5 double star located 222 light years from Earth. Nice field of view here through the finder. You've got this pairing here. You've got a nice curve of stars here that comes all the way over to here. This is a really nice view. Let's zoom in on Gamma and see if it splits in Stellarium. It does, but you have to get some real power on it. So a 6mm eyepiece is what I would recommend to split Gamma. Okay, I don't have any deep sky objects listed, no Messier objects, no Caldwell objects. So let's use Stellarium as a star chart. And let's see if there's anything that piques our interest. So let's go over here to deep sky objects and let's turn on labels and markers. And let's slide them over here a little bit to start seeing fainter and fainter ones. Not much showing up in Piscis Austrinus. There we go. We finally got a few here to show up. So let's look at the brighter ones. There we go. Now we're using Stellarium as a star chart here. So we'll start seeing some objects populate. Zoom in a little more. Now, the way Stellarium works, the farther you zoom in, the fainter objects will be labeled. So if it becomes overwhelming, you can open your labels and markers again and back off a little bit, which will eliminate them in order of brightness. So if you want to go for some of the brighter ones, just drag your labels and hints about the same spot. There we go. Okay, so that leaves us with a manageable number. So let's take a look at this one here, NGC 7174. I'm just doing this strictly by Stellarium's star chart here to see if there's anything interesting. It does look like NGC 7173 has an image in Stellarium. This is a galaxy. It's a 12th magnitude galaxy, so definitely need dark skies for that, and most likely a large aperture telescope, 12 inches or better. So yeah, through the panoptic, it's too small to really make out. Let's go with 9mm delight. And you can just see that this is an elliptical galaxy, so it basically just looks like a circular smudge. Let's zoom in on it manually. See what Stellarium has to show us. Well, that looks like a star. So that's, my guess is that that's a background star in the same field of view as the actual galaxy. So I don't think Stellarium is showing us an image after all. Okay, so let's zoom back out. And see if any other, here's a couple of other galaxies that show up. And these red ovals, that's Stellarium's symbol for a galaxy. So if you see the symbol but you don't see an image, that just means that the galaxy is in the database, but there's no image of it in the software. This is a 12th magnitude galaxy located 195 million light years away. Wow. Can't imagine that that would be an easy target to find with a backyard-sized telescope. Okay, so I'm going to return us to a standard view here. Let's turn our boundaries off. And let's turn our labels and markers off. Let's turn our cardinal directions back on. Okay. So here's Fomalhaut here. I can't tell you how many times in a night that I have to reorient myself. Here's the water jar of Aquarius, and here's Fomalhaut here. And this squashed oval here is the fish itself. So that's about all I have tonight for the southern fish, Piscis Austrinus. Good night and good seeing.